You know the feeling? Something happened. Good or bad, it doesn't matter. And now you're lying in the dark, completely exhausted, completely awake, watching the ceiling do nothing. You tell yourself to stop thinking. The thinking intensifies, you check the time, you calculate how many hours of sleep you'll get if you fall asleep right now. You check again. This is not a sleep problem. This is your brain doing exactly what it was built to do, in exactly the wrong moment. Here is the first thing almost nobody explains correctly. Emotional arousal and sleep are physiologically incompatible, and your brain does not distinguish between good arousal and bad arousal when it comes to that incompatibility. Whether you are dreading a conversation tomorrow or counting down to something you've waited months for, the sympathetic nervous system activates the same way. Cortisol rises, adrenaline rises, core body temperature stays elevated. And sleep cannot begin until your body drops its core temperature by 1 to 2 degrees Celsius. That temperature drop is not a preference. It is a biological requirement for sleep onset. Emotional activation, regardless of its valence, blocks that drop. This is why Christmas Eve and the night before a hard conversation feel neurologically identical at 2 in the morning. Your brain is not broken, it is simply aroused, and arousal and sleep occupy opposite ends of the same physiological dial. But there is a second mechanism running underneath that one, and it is more specific to the dark and the quiet you're trying to use to help yourself. When external stimulation drops, when the lights go off, the phone goes down, the noise stops, the brain shifts processing toward what neuroscientists call the default mode network. This is the system responsible for self-referential thought, memory consolidation, and future simulation. It is, in the most literal sense, the part of your brain that thinks about you, replaying what happened, rehearsing what might happen, running the scenarios you haven't resolved. It evolved precisely for quiet moments, because quiet moments were historically when processing unresolved experience was safe. The darkness and stillness you create to help yourself sleep are the exact conditions that activate the network most likely to keep you awake. The argument replays, the excitement rehearses, the worry simulates. You didn't cause this by thinking too much, you caused it by lying down in the dark. Now here is the layer that is genuinely counterintuitive. In 2002, psychologist Allison Harvey published a cognitive model of insomnia documenting something the field had long suspected. The act of trying to fall asleep makes falling asleep harder. When you monitor whether you are sleeping, you activate the prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive control and self-monitoring center. That is precisely the region that needs to go offline for sleep to begin. The intention to sleep creates a performance situation around sleep, and performance situations create arousal, and arousal prevents sleep. You are, in the most measurable neurological sense, fighting yourself. The harder you try, the more awake you become. Every time you check whether you're close to sleeping, you push it further away. So what actually works? And the answer is not what wellness content tells you. Research by Asher and Afran in 1978 documented paradoxical intention. When insomnia patients were instructed to lie in the dark and try to stay awake, to keep their eyes open and resist sleep, they fell asleep faster than patients trying normally. Removing the performance pressure around sleep removed the arousal that was preventing it. A second technique, cognitive shuffling, works by disrupting the default mode network directly. Instead of trying to stop thinking, you replace the emotional narrative with rapid, random, unconnected visual images. A yellow cup, a cloud, a bicycle, cycling through them quickly enough that the brain cannot build story or meaning around them. This mimics the hypnagogic imagery that naturally precedes sleep onset and effectively reroutes the DMN away from processing your actual life. And the temperature mechanism is simpler than it sounds. A warm shower 20 minutes before bed accelerates the body's compensatory cooling response afterward, triggering the physiological drop that signals sleep onset. You are not bad at sleeping. You are a brain that evolved to process unresolved emotional states during periods of quiet and darkness, and then you are placing yourself in quiet darkness immediately after an unresolved emotional state and expecting nothing to happen. The machinery is not malfunctioning. You are just now learning how to work with it instead of against it. Stop trying to sleep. That's where it starts.